it's been really refreshing to have a lot of open and intelligent conversations with people lately. Anyways, I'm not quite sure how this might affect you, and it might not. It might not. It might be easier if I show you though. So the red markers on this map, we haven't been able to help them just yet, at least. Whereas the yellow markers, they get their electricity from us, not from the old wooden poles and wires on the streets. And no, we don't require people to turn themselves upside down and squeeze lunch money out of their pockets for solar panels and batteries. If that made sense, I'm sure people would have already done that. What we've been doing is been a little bit different. So instead of being stuck paying for never-ending rate hikes for the rest of someone's life, we just been able to help them to spend far less on their electricity with their own on-site generation and storage, where they're the one in control of it, and that's without requiring them to invest to get that. So we that's how it works when it works, and to be frank, it doesn't always work because a lot of companies they cut corners on the quality, and that ends up costing homeowners more down the road. But yeah, it might be what another thing we've been finding with speaking with people is they're just not really aware of yeah, just ways that they could to spend far less for one thing, but also what the rate hikes have been from the electricity companies and how they could avoid those. So it might be helpful to go over that with you. So if you look here, this news headline shows that AGL and Origin increased their electricity rates by up to 30% 3 years ago, and they roughly doubled their profits that year. So a lot of people, they kind of just pay the bill and think they can't really do anything about avoiding that. However, the homeowners that we've helped, yeah, they've been able to avoid doing that. So yeah, a lot of people just think, okay, they just kind of pay the bill until they get this bill that was higher than what they're expecting, and then they decide enough is enough, and they decide to do something about lowering them. This I want to show you is a little bit of a case study of one person we've helped. His name is Rob, and so he was spending he spent about $1,500 over 6 months, which is about $250 per month from May to October 2023. And then after we install the 17 kilowatt solar panel system with ICO panels and a 19.2 kilowatt hour SunGrow battery, he went from spending that much to $50 a month to having $1,211 in credit after 8 months of having his system. So that was from November 24 to June 2025. So in the middle of winter, end of June, he had $1,211 in credit. Now he did get a bill in June, July, and August because he was using more electricity during those times. But he subsequently installed got another small heater so that he could use less, and we're also coming back to install a larger battery for him so that he can get even more credits and also have more future proofing when he gets to electric vehicles at some point in the future. And so with saving avoiding spending $250 a month or $300 a month on electricity bills, 1,500 divided by 6 is yeah, it's 250, and so instead of spending that, and he's just been getting $150 in credit per month, so it's about $400 monthly savings. So not a lot, which works out to be $5,400 annually. And then over 10 years, if we're conservative about the rate hikes, because over the last 10 years that they've actually been more like 8% per year on average, and over the last 3 years it's been about 13% on average. But if we're conservative and assume the rate hikes are only 2 to 5% a year, he would be on track to saving about $59,000 to $68,000 over the next 10 years if his usage stays about the same. And obviously there are the different factors involved, like how wholesale rates could change. But yeah, he just switched to a company called Amber, so that they have, I've put together. You can find more information about them, and I'll share that with you in just a moment. Well, actually, I'll just go right on to that. Um, but yeah, I also I just want to show you this. So just real quick. So this is Simi. He tracked his electricity bills over from 1991 to 2023, and you can see down here that this is his 1991 bill, and he was charged. He had two separate charges, but works out to be about 10 cents per kilowatt hour per unit of electricity that he was using, and an average home uses about 16 to 25 kilowatt hours a day, more if they're using more air conditioning on certain days, or if they're driving a lot with electric vehicles. And then in 2023, this is a little bit blurry, but he had a few different quite a few, several more. You can see they've introduced a lot more charges. So there's one rate which is 30.36 cents per kilowatt hour, and another peak rate which is 40.6. So he was, spending roughly, when you also account for the daily supply charges that have been introduced since 1991. Yeah, he's spending about, I think I worked it out, it was about 49 cents per kilowatt hour when you also account for the daily supply charges. So that's gone up from like about 500% compared to 10 cents per kilowatt hour about, in 1991 from 2023. So over 32 years, about a 500% increase. So it hasn't skyrocketed, just a 500% increase is all. And this one here is the tariff tracking project from Vinnie's. So you can see that the rates, the average electricity cost for someone in New South Wales, for example, has gone up from about $1,400 annually in 2009 to about $2,800 in 2023. So about a doubling in the electricity bill over 14 years. So I guess what would prevent the electricity companies from continuing to increase their rates by that much, and electricity bills doubling in the next 10 years? This is just another one showing over 1990 to 2020 that they roughly increased by 500% over that time. This just shows compared the electricity rate hikes compared to inflation. So you can see it's increased quite a bit more, the electricity prices compared to inflation. This is just Simi's bill 2023. So I'll stop there. So what I'd like to suggest as a next step, if you like, is you can scan this QR code, which will take you to this page. And on that page, you'll be able to, unless it's a crazy idea, you'll be able to learn more about what we've been doing, how we've been helping homeowners, what our reputation looks like as a solar installation company. You can self-assess your electricity with this simple questionnaire. This link allows you to book a discovery call with me, which would be about a 15-minute call, roughly, to 10-15 minutes to assess your your electricity, and then from the next steps from there, if it would be helpful, would be to book a site visit to assess your meter board, possible locations for a battery, assess the roof, and discuss what it would look like for you with the savings versus the cost of inaction with doing nothing, with just continuing to rent your electricity. And this page as well, just you can also learn more about Amber, how a lot of homeowners have been able to get credits instead of bills, or just spend a lot less with having solar panels and batteries. And you can also find a sign up form to Amber, which you can use. It's best to use don't have if you don't have the solar panels, or if you've got both panels and the battery. And then there's some reviews here of some of the people that I've been able to help, and you can also find links to reviews here. So I hope this has been helpful, and feel free to leave a comment below, and if it has been helpful, hit the like button, and you can also subscribe to more content. Or in this page as well also has a couple of YouTube playlists that you can go to learn more about the rate hikes. And also, I'm going to add another link here, another YouTube playlist for a lot of frequently asked questions and even concerns and obstacles that people have when they're looking into solar panels and batteries. So I'll add that on this page here. So again, if it helps, unless it'd be a crazy idea, you can use this link to book a discovery call with me, and that way we'd be able to form a clearer picture of what it would look like specifically for you in terms of the savings, the long-term savings, and how it could benefit you with really just having more control and ownership and financial security when it comes to your electricity. All right, take care.